Good morning everyone and welcome to Rehabilitation Learnology. So we are going to start our session with a very basic topic, but this is indeed the most important topic for prosthetist and orthotist because we have to make people walk after amputation, stroke, polio and etc. So in order to help someone walk, we must understand human gait first. Today our topic of discussion is human gait. I will briefly but precisely go through the topic. If you like the video, do let us know in the comment box and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's start understanding the human gait. Normal gait can be defined as a series of rhythmical but alternative movement of trunk and limbs which result in the forward progression of center of gravity. It means if your right limb is moving forward, your left limb will be moving backward. Gait cycle can be defined as single sequence of function by one limb. It begins when the reference foot contacts the ground and it ends when the subsequent floor contact of the same foot. There are two phases of gait, stance phase and swing phase. Names are self-explanatory. Stance phase is the time when foot is in contact with the floor, and this is the period of weight acceptance which makes up 60% of the cycle. Swing phase is the time where the limb is lifted from the floor and it's the period of limb advancement, and this makes up of 40% of the cycle. We can find them in terms of support. So there are also two phases, single support and double support. In single support, only one limb is in contact with the floor, and in double support, both limbs are in contact with the floor. Coming towards the parameter of gait, there are several parameters of gaits like step length, stride length, walking pace, cadence, velocity, toe out angle. I will be discussing them all one by one. Step length is the distance between corresponding successive point of heel contact of the opposite feet, and right step length should be equal to left step length in normal gait. Stride length is the distance between successive point of heel contact of the same foot, and it's usually double the step length in normal human gait. The limb with the red circle is our reference limb. From the red circle till the appearance of blue circle, it's one step, and from the first red circle till the appearance of second red circle, it's one complete stride. Walking pace is side to side distance between the line of 2 feet, also known as stride width, and it's also indicator of stability. The more the walking base, or the wider the walking base, the more stable the object is. Cadence is number of steps taken per unit time, and normal cadence is 100 to 115 steps per minute. Velocity is step length into cadence, and it is measured in meter per minute. In order to describe the elements of gait, the gait cycle can be broken down further into sub-factors. There are 8 sub-factors. Number 1, initial contact. Number 2, loading response. Number 3, mid-stance. Number 4, terminal stance. Number 5, pre-swing. Number 6, initial swing. Number 7, mid-swing. Number 8, terminal swing. Initial swing or initial contact. It is also known as heel strike. This is the first movement when the foot comes in contact with the floor. In this phase, hip is flexed, knee is extended, ankle is dorsiflexed. This is the first phase of double support. It means one limb is in heel strike phase and the other limb is in toe off phase. The aim of this phase is to stabilize the limb in preparation for it to take the impeding forward translation of the body weight. Loading response. In this phase, foot flattens on the floor through pronation, and the position of hip is extension and the knee is in flexion. The aim of this phase is shock absorption, weight bearing stability and preservation of progression. Mid stance. This is the first half of single limb support. Weight is aligned fully over the supporting foot through ankle dorsiflexion, while the position of hip and knee is extension as the other foot lifts off the floor. The body weight is fully supported on one leg as the other leg is in swing phase. Terminal stance. This is the second half of single leg support, and it begins as the other leg lifts off the floor. The heel of the loaded limb lifts off the floor and the body weight moves forward as the hip increases in extension. The knee gains full extension and begins to flex again. This phase is completed when the non-loaded limb makes contact with the floor. Pre-swing, also known as toe-off, and is the final phase of stance. The other limb has now begun a new stance phase and is in the initial contact phase. The limb is rapidly offloaded with a forward push to transfer the weight onto the opposite limb. The knee is flexed and the ankle plantar flexed as the toe leaves the ground. Initial swing is the phase in which the foot is lifted off the floor by hip and knee flexion and the ankle begins to dorsiflex. The other foot will be mid-stance phase when the offloading limb is level up with the leg. In stance phase, the initial swing is complete. Mid-swing. The limb swings forward of the body through hip flexion and knee begins to extend. The foot is clear of the floor. Terminal swing. Also known as late swing, the knee becomes fully extended and the ankle dorsiflexes to neutral as the foot prepares to make contact with the floor again. Initial contact, loading response, mid-stance, terminal stance, pre-swing, mid-stance, terminal stance. Let's discuss some forces during the gait cycle. The force that exerts on the floor due to gravity and inertia is opposed by ground reaction force, which is also known as GRF, and it may be resolved into horizontal and vertical components. Understanding the joint position and ground reaction force leads to understanding of muscle activity during gait. So this figure explains the vertical and horizontal component of ground reaction force. So now we'll discuss direction of ground reaction force during various phases of gait. In initial contact, which is the first phase, the ground reaction force passes behind the ankle, behind the knee, and in front of the hip joint. In loading response, the ground reaction passes in front of the ankle joint, through the knee joint, and in front of the hip joint. And during mid stance, the ground reaction force passing in front of the ankle joint, front of the knee joint, and through the hip joint. During terminal stance, the ground reaction force passes in front of the ankle joint and from behind the knee joint and behind the hip joint. In pre-swing, the ground reaction force passes front of ankle joint and back of the knee joint.